So before we proceed to the first presentation of the day, a friendly reminder to everyone. Each team is only given 15 minutes to present. 5 minutes will be given to your mentors for comments and feedback, and 5 minutes will be allotted for Q&A. So I'm sure everyone will have questions, so please reserve them for the allotted Q&A time. Now, we've heard from one hero, so let's hear it from our future heroes. Everyone, please join me in welcoming Team 1 with their presentation on growth mindset.
Thank you for the welcome. Okay, Amira, can you please share the slides? All right, get ready, guys. This is going to be a journey. All right, I'll start, yeah? Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon to all sponsors, curators, guest speakers, and also all the participants. Hello, I'm Azmina, and today we will be, I am quite nervous right now. We will be presenting on growth mindset. And on behalf of my team, I would just like to say that this is an amazing opportunity. It's an honor that we get to present this essential topic to each and every one of you. And we hope that you can learn some new stuff from our presentation. Now, on to the next slide. Our presentation would include, sorry, it's a bit laggy. Our presentation will include 8 parts. Now, the first part is an introduction where we actually prepared a video. So please enjoy.
Ah, my head!
Looks like the pits claimed another one. What's up?
Who are you?
No one special.
Okay, so, how long have you been here?
About 100 years.
100 years?
Probably. Stopped counting after the first 6.
Years?
Seconds.
Oh. How am I gonna get out of here?
Well, have you tried using the knife ladder beside you?
What kind of sadistic joke is this?
Not a good one. I wouldn't recommend though. Learn from experience that it's not even worth the effort.
Well, I'm not gonna stay put in here. Ha!
I told you it wasn't worth trying. No matter what, you can't change the outcome. We were born to get stuck in this pit by some cruel fate. Just accept it.
All right, everyone, give a round of applause to our amazing illustrators who made that video in such short a time. Yes, amazing people, I swear. Now, did you guys notice that even though it was the same situation, the 2 main characters reacted differently to it? Well, one thing that you need to know, the first step into developing a growth mindset is to understand the difference between a growth and fixed mindset. Next slide, please. So a growth mindset individual believes that talent and intelligence can be improved with the right amount of effort and perseverance. So in that whole journey, there will be setbacks, there will be failure involved. But what do? They learn from it. They think, what can I do next to make it better? Feedback is also important. They would ask the people around them and say, I kind of did not do this correctly, or I did bad in this. What do you think I should do? Can you give me advice? So when it's fixed mindset individuals, they believe that talent and intelligence are fixed. Even with a lot of effort, it's unchangeable to them. So when they encounter failure, they think, this is my limit, I can't do this anymore. And when they receive feedback from other people, they think, why are they saying this to me right now? Like, can't they see them? I'm in the state of, oh no, what can I do? So it's like very personal. Now I'm gonna pass it on to Alia.
Hello. All right, thank you, Mina. Now that we know what the gist of growth mindset is, it's time to understand why it's embedded in
You're on mute.
All right, sorry. My apologies. I'll start from the beginning. Right. The first point being is to make motivation to work harder to achieve goals. Implementing and maintaining a growth mindset equalizes the belief that no task is too hard to achieve or impossible to attain, and also believing that one can blossom along the way. One must believe that they may have success in the beginning, but there's always more for them to face in order to achieve the greatest heights of success. Next is to boost or produce confidence in one's own ability. Now, to be able to put oneself out there and take on new tasks is nerve wracking. I can say that I'm in the position right now, but it's vital for self growth. If, per se, an individual is having doubts on their abilities, hence, they'll lose their opportunity to know what the greatest extent they could do on that particular task. And lastly, is to understand the power of fulfilling one's potential. We understand that the sorrow we battle ourselves with whenever we face a setback or failure in life. But during that moment, we tend to believe that we are undeserving of what is expected ourselves to achieve, whether based on talent or mere intelligence. Now, with a growth mindset, these are the stepping stones in life that function as little advances that allow us to blossom into something far better, whether the growth happens quickly or slowly, but certainly. That's all for me. Next is Adriel. Floor's all yours, Adriel.
Thank you very much, Alia. Now it's my turn to tell you guys some misconception regarding growth and fixed mindset. So the first misconception is ban the fixed mindset. We all have growth and fixed mindset exist in our mind. So trying to ban fixed mindset is just going to set us back as we tend to be fearful to take up challenges. The next misconception is we tend to think having a growth mindset means praising everyone no matter what. So having growth mindset doesn't mean we got to praise nonstop, but with a constructive feedback. When we praise, we had to talk openly about mistakes. Most importantly, praise on the area they had to improve on. Another misconception is growth mindset idea only applies to the classroom. Well, not really. We can actually apply in many different areas that you have intention of improving on. For example, teaching, professional development, leadership, training, and even personality. Other than that, there's also this common misconception that says you can be successful on a fixed mindset. This is incorrect as a fixed mindset person may also experience success. However, a growth mindset may undergo a prolonged confidence compared to a fixed mindset. After that, people also confuse us about having a growth mindset means always being positive. Being positive is crucial, however, we have to acknowledge our limitations. So be sure to take enough rest. All right, last but not least is misconception number 7. A growth mindset automatically translates to good outcomes. Well, this is mistake, however, because as growth and learning often messy and not always linear. So the truth is some risks don't work out and might just leads to a dead end. Thank you very much. I'll pass my mic to Rafi for some fun facts.
Thank you, Adriel. So let's dive into the topic. The first fun fact is that as students get older, they will feel as if they can no longer grow. As early as 3rd grade, nearly half of them don't believe that their brain and intelligence can change. Now, this is a mega big contrast compared to the 10% of 1st graders that believe they have a fixed mindset. Subsequently, the physical structure of the brain and its neural connections can actually be changed as a result of experiences, new learning, as well as memory formation. With enough effort and dedication, everyone, I repeat, everyone has the ability to rewire and strengthen neural pathways in the brain. This is the sole reason that making mistakes is good for the brain. Moreover, the right strategies and advice from others are also important to strengthen the brain. By writing down what they have learned about students, come to internalize and understand the message themselves. In fact, students who receive growth mindset programs earn more course credits, higher grades, and a more flexible brain. Ultimately, changing interactions between teachers, parents, and students into a supportive and cheerful environment can help them develop a growth mindset more effectively. It can inspire the students to develop a growth mindset as circumstances is a crucial part in learning. For example, where adults focus to praise more on efforts rather than end results. And now let's hear something from Amal.
Amal here?
Oh, sorry, okay. Let me start again. I will be elaborating about factors affecting mindset. Number one will be beliefs. The first thing that comes into my mind is Henry Ford. Who is he? Henry Ford is the founder of a renowned motor company. He sold millions of cars and became a worldwide business leader. How did he become so successful? Henry Ford went broke 5 times. Despite that, he did not give up. Henry Ford said, quote unquote, whether you believe you can or you can't, you are probably right, which means that you can do anything. You can be anything you want to be if you put your mind to it. The only thing that could stop you is yourself. It is your mindset that determines your success or your failure. Moving on to number 2, stereotypes. Stereotypes prevent mind from developing. From my experience, I've encountered several stereotype statements directed to me, such as 1, girls are not good at sports. 2, women can't do as good as a job as a man can. These statements are false. Stereotypes do not determine who you are, and you do not need public validation to grow. All you need to do is to change your mindset. Number 3 is community. One of the most important decisions we make in life is who we choose to be around with. In fact, there's an old proverb that reads, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. Years ago, I went to a school with a friend who needed to hear this information. She hung around a group of actively disengaged students. She would wait for her friends during lunchtime so she could hang around the negative crowd and talk about how bad things were at school. Do you know anyone like her? She hung around people who didn't like school, teachers, and classmates, and she became exactly like them. If you hang around people who don't like school, you'll become just like them. If you hang around people who don't care about growing, you won't grow. I'm referring to the people in our lives who drain our energy because they thrive on sharing their own negativity. Refuse it. Don't just walk away from negativity. You run. Success is influenced by whom you surround yourself with, but it can also be influenced by whom you choose not to surround yourself with. Finally, the last point. I'll just make this one short and simple. Number 4 is experiences. Try new things, learn new things. You need to know that failure is not your end. Failure is a part of experience. Failure is a learning experience. Anyone who has never failed has never achieved anything. In order to achieve a growing mindset, you need experience. That's all from me, and I will now pass the floor to Wafik.
Amal, that was incredible. Wow.
Thanks, Amal. So, how is everyone? Today, I'm gonna share with you my personal experience. So, before that, I wanna ask you guys, have you ever tried to play an instrument? Well, I have. I tried to play guitar before, so I pick it up, try some chords, but it doesn't really work out. I see these people around me who is amazing playing guitars. So I thought to myself, let's just stop. I'm not going to be as good as them. They are just talented. So after 3 months or so, I pick it up again. But this time I actually tried, and now I can play guitar. So what I'm trying to say here is that you will have different kind of talents. One will have more and one will have less. But what makes you succeed is just hard work. So you need hard work and talent to succeed. So I'm gonna end my talk with a quote from Tin Notker. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. So that's all from me. Moving on to Alia.
Thank you, Wafik. Now, you may wonder, how can we develop a growth mindset? First is to be a courageous learner. Look at the raw facts. Being honest with yourself helps you to identify areas in your life that needs improvement and acknowledging your achievements. Second is that to hold opinions slightly. Avoid taking it personally. Allow yourself to sit back and think about your opinion. Why did I think about it that way? And what do I personally think? Instead of debating, you gain a new perspective. Thirdly is that we can only change ourselves. We can't control our surroundings, the people, or our circumstances, and neither can they. So we can only control our actions. These calculated actions can ground you to be more confident in taking your own responsibilities, and also you get to handle them better. Second thing is that the last one is that finding your element. So what does it mean by element? Element is that if you have a strength, which means what you're good at, and then you combine with passion, which is what you're interested in doing, when you combine those two things together, it becomes an element. So all of us have our own capabilities and limitations. We might claim that you're born with this specific talent, But that is actually not the only thing that you will have in this life. You're not stuck onto that talent alone. It just means that you notice it early. So when trying to find your element, it encourages you to go out of your comfort zone and try new things. Now, with that being said, that is the end of our presentation. I'll be passing the platform to Hassan to have a conversation with our mentor.
Thank you, Alia. We're going to be talking to the last boss. Right here with us
Thank
today.
you, Team One. That was really impressive and mind-blowing. You know, the chat was blasted with all the good comments about you guys, how creative the video was, how good your presentation was, how great the points were talked about. It's so amazing. Without taking much of the time, may I call on dear mentor, Mr. Sharul Rahman, the head of corporate communication Insurance Islam Type Holdings, Sendirian Berhad, from our platinum sponsor for commentary. Is Mr. Sharul Rahman here?
Hi, I'm Muni.
Okay, you may take the floor, Mr. Sharul Rahman.
Thank you. Thank you for this wonderful session. I'm truly honored, Shaun, especially to Curious Mind. Again, I think I can't stop emphasizing how grateful I am to be here and how lucky you guys are. Thousands of you here, where Shaun enables to empower you guys through networking, through these amazing, amazing topics. So I have Hassan with me today, and Hassan, I shall pass the floor to you.
All right, sure. I think we've gone through the introduction of who you are already. So Mr. Shahrul will be answering a few questions related to our topic, growth mindset, and he will be sharing his thoughts and advice regarding this issue. We've got 4 questions for Mr. Shahrul. So the first one is that in a workplace or any organization like student council, tough love, the act of treating a person harshly or sternly help them in the long run, is a common term for some. In your opinion, must we get hurt to grow, and how do we successfully embrace risk-taking?
All right, I think that's a wonderful question, Hassan. Well, from my personal experience, I don't think I'd get to where I am today without tough love from the people before me. I guess it did help shape my character and build that resilience over the years. But as time passes by, and in my position today as head of corporate communications, I don't necessarily see consistent tough love as a must in developing others. I guess at some point you'll need tough love to break outside of the comfort zone, but I don't think this should be constant, as it could have a negative toll on the person's mental health. And actually, I've seen this before. So I guess it's also important for people to understand the value of teaching and guidance as part of empowering and growing others, especially through platforms like these. And as for the self, I think it's important for people to keep in mind that growth does come within you, and you are solely responsible for your future and how you perceive things around you. I guess that's very important in order to grow as well. And for your second part, to successfully embrace risk-taking, I think this is a very important question, especially in the workplace. So I've got 5 points to share. Number 1 is don't make decisions blindly. It's vital to understand that decisions that you're making and the outcomes that it may have. Number 2 is, it's also important, is to do research, whether it's by discussing this with internal and external stakeholders. Number 3 is be diligent in assessing the risk that may arise from such decisions. Number 4, later on when you join in the workplace, you can seek feedback from legal compliance. You have risk management, these control unit functions that help sort of mitigate risk before making those decisions. And I think most importantly, when you do make mistakes, and I've made tons of mistakes in the past, I think most important principle out of it is to learn from it and to not repeat the same mistakes over and over again. I think that's when you eventually absorb it and grow from where you are 4 years ago, or where I was 4 years ago, to where I am 4 years later, which is today.
I couldn't agree more with you. Even though tough love pushes you out of your comfort zone, in the long run, it will negatively affect your mental health.
Yep.
Follow up to that question, how do you find the balance to be professional in taking criticism when you are friends with your colleague or your boss? Where do you draw the line between constructive and destructive criticism?
All right. For this question, I think, to tell you the truth, it's not that easy. I could put it all in words and it seems very easy, but in reality, it's not. So this is where growth mindset would come in. And I think Team One have done a wonderful job in explaining what growth and fixed mindset is. So the way I see it, Hassan and the team, I see it as like peeling an onion. So you have so many layers that you have to peel in order to actually take the real onion. And similarly, when people criticize your works or your ways, try to strip away the emotions and feelings behind those words and try to reflect if there's any room for growth beyond whatever that has been said or pointed out by people. At this point, it's so important and vital for you to let your guard down and not put it too high that you refuse to listen to others. So, and this is even from the people that you may not always see eye to eye with. So it's important that we continuously seek and accept feedback. And when we when we seek feedback and we don't like to hear the things that we want to hear, we have to remember why we asked it in the first place. So words may come harsh, you might not like it, but eventually there's some sort of element of truth, I'm sure, in those words that you can use to reflect on your own growth. So my final point on that is self-reflection. Throughout my years, self-reflection is a key element to see what you have in great leaders. So it's where you constantly take in things around you to grow, regardless whether they're positive or negative.
Yeah, it's like peeling an onion.
Yeah, remember that.
So,
Peeling an onion.
yeah, peeling an onion, very important. Okay, so growth mindset is about getting better at mitigating risk. As a person who has gained a variety of experience in different departments in your workplace, if we move to a new place, do we stand on our ground or should we adapt?
Okay. Throughout my career, I think I've actually been rotated through all the units under sales division. I was head of unit for 5 different units within the period of 3 years. And that's when I also got promoted after 3 years to head of marketing. So although I've been in the same company, it's been with different people. And personally, it's a mix of both for me. So when we say stand on our ground, one, I hold on to certain principles no matter where I go or where I've been career-wise. So maybe just for the benefit of everyone, these are my principles in my career life. And maybe I'll probably have more of these as I grow over the years. So number one is to continuously help others wherever I can. So it's important for me to be wherever I am and to see where I can sort of come in and help these people to grow or to empower them for them to become better and give them that opportunity to sort of bloom. So that's number one. Number two, learn as much as I can from the people around me, regardless of their position or title. It's so important for us to be humble, no matter what our position is, whether as head, whether as lead, or whether as a junior position, a senior position. To me, it doesn't matter. To me, everyone has different talents that we may not see with our rough eye, but as a matter of fact, there's so much beauty and brain behind these people that is so left unexplored. And it's so important for us to sort of learn from them and get whatever we can to grow alongside with them. And the last one to me is take charge when needed. So in a position where perhaps decision making is very hard for some people to make, that's where you sort of have to come in and take charge. And I think it's so important that with leadership, it's about listening to what people have to say, self-reflection, as I mentioned. And this allows you to take charge and take lead when people will see you as a leader and people will eventually follow when you start helping them. So that's for standing our ground. As far as adapting, it's important as well to adapt to a new workplace. So moving into a new place, it's very important for you to identify people who adopt the same mindset that you do. If you have a growth mindset, I guess that's a very important person to have alongside with you. In terms of work, I think it's essential to also ask around how things are done previously, appreciate the history, but most importantly, I think my advice would be to understand the issues or difficulty that the junior level or mid-level have difficulty over the past years and guide them from there. If there's anything to be improved, talk to them, discuss and engage with them for a better improvement in adapting. So I guess that's what I would advise. Yeah.
Really good answer. So in a workplace, inevitably, we will find ourselves with toxic people, like people that can negatively impact you mentally. How do you deal with the toxic environment in the workplace?
Okay, that's a tough question, Hassan. And I think it's wonderful that you have these questions in mind in order to prepare yourself for the future, for your future workplace. So depends on what toxic environment is to you. Everyone has different opinions of what toxic may mean to them. It may be long hours without continuous breaks. It may be about different people around you. So to me personally, a toxic environment is a place where people would talk about your personal life, or where they would just talk about other people instead of talking about work. And my advice is don't engage and walk away, or in Amal's words, run. Run as fast as you can from those people. But I guess most importantly is to be able to differentiate whenever a conversation is going. One, identify, are they talking about people or are they talking about work? If they're talking about work, then you may want to engage, because then you can learn, you can give input. Your input may be important to contribute to the company. And evidently, it's very important for you to observe as well how dealings work in the workplace. But if they're talking about people, then you may want to sort of draw that line between professionalism and between the workplace and personal life. So my advice, if you have those communities in your workplace or people like those, it's best to start running away. Talk to people, surround yourself with positive people who look forward to growth mindset, who look forward to developing and moving the company further than where it is today. And I can tell you that market is very competitive. The economy is very competitive. You don't have time for those conversations that which don't contribute to the company's position and growth. So I think that's all for me.
Reality check. That's amazing, Shahrul.
Yeah.
The market is
so
very
important.
competitive. It's very true. Hassan, I think that it's so competitive. My position is at threat. You are an excellent interviewer. I am
Thank you.
scared. We want to give one question to the floor, and then we will move to the break. But it is a 1 minute answer, all right? Because we are behind. Anyone raise their hand? Well, if there's no question, I have a question. Shahrul,
Yes, Shaun.
what advice will you give to your 17-year-old in 1 minute?
Oh my. 17-year-old. Talk to people, break outside of that shell. As a 17-year-old, I don't think I would expect to be where I am today. So most importantly is be confident, accept yourself for who you are. If you're an outgoing person, embrace that. If you're a shy person, embrace that as well, but learn to adapt to new things. 17-year-old, oh my, hard question.
Shahrul, as the great philosopher, Mr. Justin Bieber say, love yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up to Mr. Shahrul and Team One. Well done.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you
Is
so
it
much.
amazing?
Thank you.
Whose turn? Is it Farah or Aimuni who is taking over the floor?
Me.
Okay.
Hello. You haven't seen the last of me yet, unfortunately. So my goodness, that was a banquet of knowledge. Impressive work, everyone. Team One, congratulations. Your hard work is greatly appreciated. And thank you so much, Mr. Shahrul Rahman, for so generously sharing with us your philosophy. There's so much you can learn from Team One, especially from the quote, being positive is crucial, but we have to know our own limitations. Remember that there's much to learn from different perspectives, and that everyone has what it takes to grow themselves. So what's your takeaway? We're very excited to know. So how are you guys? Hope you're having as much fun as we are. But in every adventure, there's always a break to freshen yourselves. So let's stop here for a minute, and we'll come back and see you all at 4 o'clock. Oh, 4:05. So go ahead and get your break, get yourself some drinks and some snacks, and we'll see you all once you're freshened up. Thank you